The Lord sees Daisy in a seedling state, so she asks her if she is a natural-born dryad. Hearing this, Jae-hee is concerned, but Daisy tells her she is a dryad bloomed by a fruit, and she reveals her reason for being small. This is because she has stayed away from the world tree, which causes her to lose her strength and become small. The Lord then asks if she was abused, but she explains that there was another druid who cut connection with her. This is the reason she has had to suffer, and from the bright light, Jae-hee came as a savior and saved her from suffering. The Lord asked Daisy if she felt inferior to the two dryads that traveled with her. Specifically, the Lord is talking about Mesquite and the Elder, but Daisy replies that she is happy that her druid is protected by the strong dryads. She also accepts that she is weak now, but it is because she has not grown fully yet. Hearing this, the Lord appreciates her and motivates her, saying that she will become a king one day. A king of a forest rules over one species, and the Lord appreciates Daisy's strong mentality. Through this, she will definitely become a king one day. In order to become king, a dryad must have more members of the same species, which is only possible to find through a butterfly. The Lord then tells her story. When she was born, she was a normal dandelion seedling, small and weak. However, the difference between her and other seedlings' children is that her soul is capable of accepting other dryad souls. As the number of dandelion dryads increased and their habitat was threatened by fire, they needed a leader to lead them all. This is how she was chosen as the dominant species. As time passed, the Lord was trusted by more souls, and hence her power increased. When she defended the habitat with her power, her soul grew bigger, her body grew as well, and ultimately her weapon became bigger. A king must fulfill the duties and responsibilities that lie on their shoulders. The Lord said to Daisy that she would also be able to become the same as herself one day. Daisy shows her spirit, and Jae-hee also knows that in order to make Daisy a dominant species, she has to be stronger. This is because the dandelion species makes a forest in the wild, but Daisy has to make one in Jae-hee's terrarium artifact. Jae-hee calls Daisy to put out the fires in this area and get some experience. Jae-hee and her dryads went to put out the fires following the flower seeds of dandelion. When the seeds disappeared, they saw a fire in a person's shape, which Jae-hee had never seen before. The fires near the terrarium are surpassed by the force of the world tree, so the shape of the fire is just like a piece of slime. However, the fires that are not affected by the world tree can use their power as much as they want. The fires burn and devour their surroundings to get stronger and gain the form of the one who seems more powerful than them. The fire had gained the form of the druid, which passed through this way, being found to be powerful. The fire shines brightly, and the surrounding area becomes a pool of fire. Jae-hee is now concerned because she has never seen any fire like it before, and it would have been problematic if she didn't level up at the beginning. The heat covers the surroundings. Even the water starts boiling. Jae-hee is curious about the druid who put out these fires before. The fire attacked, and Jae-hee felt that the level of this place was just so much, even though it should be just more than one from the beginner's ground. Mesquite stabbed the fire, and it broke into 5 pieces. Daisy steps up to put out the fires, but Jae-hee feels the gut feeling that is connected to Mesquite. Consequently, she calls back Daisy and changes the main character to her. She pulls Mesquite back, he covers Daisy up, and Elder uses a protective shield to protect Jae-hee from fire. The fire attacks them. The smoke and ash cover them up, and Jae-hee's eyes are burning with the smoke. However, she manages to ask others if they are alright. They protect themselves from the attack, and Elder uses his healing power to heal them all. As a result, Jae-hee feels better. The fire has absorbed the energy. One of the fires got caught in the explosion and died, but there is no size change even though the fire has absorbed the energy. Mesquite asks Daisy to put out the fire at once, otherwise if the fire gets smaller, it will use the same attack as before. Mesquite handles the right two, and Daisy handles the left two. Mesquite guides Daisy to attack in the middle so that the fire disappears as it is being attacked. The fire seems to be using the dust attack as before, but Elder blocks it, and Mesquite and Daisy have only one chance to wipe out the fires. Otherwise, the Elder Mother Plant will be absorbed by the fire and the fire power will get stronger. At the right time, Mesquite and Daisy attacked the fire and wiped them out. Jae-hee leveled up and felt refreshed. Daisy's jacket changed, Elder's cape changed, and Mesquite was the least changed because the higher the rank, the slower the leveling up speed becomes. Jae-hee and her dryads leveled up well because the enemy was strong. At this rate, Jae-hee can easily become stronger as a druid who cleared the fire in this area. She gives a potion to Daisy, and they just look at the front. Jaehee saw a diamond, and she wondered where it came from while she didn't throw any. Mesquite told her that it came from the fire they put out. Jaehee questioned Mesquite about why it is as though, while the fire they put out at the beginning, nothing came out of it. Mesquite explains that a diamond is a crystal left by a fire that engulfed a dryad or a piece of the world tree. The diamond is condensed with the magical force after burning with the fire, and the fire couldn't absorb the whole diamond because it was protected by the soul of the dryad, who wasn't able to return to the world tree. Moreover, the fire might have swallowed up a dandelion seedling from the habitat. The dust attack that the fire used was definitely the flower seeds of the dandelions. In other words, the diamond is the remains of the dandelions that were eaten by the fire. Jaehee didn't get how a dandelion seedling could come this far and be eaten by the fire. She is now concerned about dandelion seedlings and decides to clear the area around the habitat fast from the fire so that no casualties will happen. The fires are not specifically at a destination, so all the druids have to wander around. All the fires are human-shaped but can be killed easily compared to the first one. Jaehee sees the fire and guesses that the fire must have swallowed up a dandelion, and Mesquite suggests they can kill it in one blow. But Jaehee doubts if Mesquite can do so because in the previous battles they didn't put out the fire in just one blow. He explains that this time it will be possible. Although the weapons and equipment are the same, the limit of the skills they can use has been lifted a bit, and as Jaehee's soul has grown, her dryads can spread their roots more. Mesquite can use more skills compared to Daisy, and he was just standing low so that he could match Jaehee's soul. Mesquite said Jaehee is growing faster than usual, and they show her the strong will to protect. Elder uses some special buff, and Mesquite wipes out the fire in just one blow because it's his new skill, which throws out defense and focuses on offense. They return to the habitat, and Jaehee gives the Lord the 2 diamonds of the dandelion dryads that were burned by the fire. They were the children that were born near the boundary of the habitat, and before the king noticed, the children were swallowed by the fire. The souls of the burned children can neither return nor go back to the world tree. The only way is that the Lord keeps them in her heart, and when the time comes to return to the world, she will take them with her. As a reward, the Lord gives Panacea, which contains the power of dandelion dryads, to Jaehee. It's a special potion that has healing power, which can cure most diseases and those who are affected by the special power of dryads. Jaehee questions Elder while he is also a healer, so if he can make something like that, but he explains that while both dandelions and Elder are healers, their traits are different, and in order to concentrate the healing power into a diamond bottle, one has to instill it over and over again for a long time to get a potion. Jaehee opens her eyes wider, seeing that it's a diamond bottle. The Lord got the diamond bottle from an alchemist who visited their habitat a long time ago. Jaehee shows concern to the Lord about whether it is alright to give her a valuable thing, but it's fine as Jaehee helped the Lord by putting out the fires around their habitat. The Lord takes out a flower from her weapon and is the forgotten language of the dandelion mother plant, and it is said that the first dandelion mother plant received an oracle in a huge flood that can submerge everything on the ground. The seeds of that plant were blown away to a safe place that wasn't submerged, and as she becomes the Lord, she inherits the power of the oracle, and she gives a fragment of that oracle to Jaehee, through which she can awaken a new force with a special power. The Lord doesn't know how to use it, and all she can do is give it to her. The oracle fragment is a valuable item, but they don't know how to use it. Jaehee accepts the item because the time will come when she will be able to use it. Jaehee is satisfied with the panacea, and as of now, the quest is complete, so she can head towards the 28th terrarium as planned, but Jaehee expresses that she is stuck in a problem. There is a mountain on the way to the 28th terrarium. It's just a bit higher than the plane, but only 10 meters higher than the plane is a mountain for Jaehee. She really doesn't want to go through the mountain, and it's not like on Earth where there will be a cable car or stairs for hikers. It's just a wild mountain. Jaehee is now feeling guilty for cursing the druid that has cleaned and wiped the hunting ground because, since the druid is not gone in the way they are going, the fire monsters are coming like crazy from nowhere. Mesquite alerts Jaehee to see above, and there is a firebird monster who is able to fly. The firebirds attack them crazily, and it's even hard for Mesquite to deal with that because they are flying. He asks Daisy if he will throw her up so she can manage to kill the monsters. Mesquite throws Daisy up, and she deals with the firebirds one by one and kills them. Jaehee is exhausted now, and Mesquite suggests Jaehee take a break because she seems too tired. They had cleared all the fire in the area where they were standing. Jae-hee feels guilty for being a low-level noob, and she feels that she is creating trouble for her dryads, while Mesquite consoles her that even her existence is a help for them. Jae-hee is crying because she is nothing more than trash who has nothing but diamonds. She sees a burned box, and Mesquite goes to check and finds it's a carriage. Jae-hee becomes excited and wishes if she knew she would have taken a carriage, but Mesquite tells her the drawbacks of it, which can be dangerous because it's a big object and they will become easy targets to fire. Generally, they did take a bunch of talented dryads to escort them, but it seems that there was a battle and the group was swallowed by the fire, and the fire must have become a lot stronger. Elder suggests leaving the place quickly, but he didn't sense a strong presence here. Jae-hee estimates that when a fire that swallows a dryad is that powerful, then how powerful will the fire be if it swallows up a lot of dryads? All the boxes have a danger symbol, and the 28th terrarium is written on that. Jae-hee suspects that the box contains black soil and that there is a plant inside it, and she is curious to know what they were trying to deliver to the 28th terrarium. Finally, they reach flat ground, but there are two ways in front of them, and both ways go to the 28th terrarium, but Jae-hee wants to select an easier one. Mesquite feels the presence of someone on the left path. We see a group of dryads who seem to be chasing someone with signs of escape, but it's older than a few years, so their work ends for nothing. The other dryad suggests the dryad that escapes must have fast feet, that's why it was able to survive. The other one, dryad, suggests that they failed to achieve their goal, and at the end, they lost track of where dryad went, and all the remains were burned too. The main dryad feels the presence of someone in front of them, and it's our heroes, Jae-hee and her dryads. The other dryads recognize them as the ones Sidling found that night. Another dryad praises that they are an ideal combination because they are able to come this far with a small vessel. Jae-hee counts that there are 6 dryads, and they all look fancy. Jae-hee recognizes the person standing back as a druid. A dryad from their group asked who was going to talk, and all started fighting to talk, but the main of the bouquet stopped them, seeing Jae-hee confused. The other dryads is introduced by Belladonna, who is the current main character of the bouquet. They talk from an appropriate distance because she explains that, because of her mother's plant nature, it can be dangerous to stand at a close distance for those who are not in her bouquet. They are commissioned, and they are heading to the 28th terrarium, and they are coming down from the 16th terrarium. Jae-hee tells them they are from the 26th terrarium, and she recognizes them as the group who cleared the hunting ground earlier, but Jae-hee is wondering why their druid is not talking. Belladonna introduces other dryads to Jae-hee. The one with violin is Brazilian rosewood. The one next to him is the dominant species of the Kalmia forest known as Kalmia latifolia. The one who wields the whip is periwinkle. The one who is holding a crystal ball is blue mallow, and the Cardin is the prince of the desert. Cardin has not seen someone from the same desert field for a while, so he is excited to see Mesquite. Jae-hee introduces themselves. Her dryads are Mesquite Velvet and the Red Daisy, and she doesn't need to introduce Elder because Belladonna has met the same species before, so she recognizes him as Elder and praises his species as beautiful and gorgeous. Jae-hee understands that an Elder is a famous one, like a celebrity. Belladonna introduces her druid Sidling, who is not used to human social life because he has lived with dryads since he was born. Sidling lacks social skills, and they made a rule that first, the 3 dryads will talk from their bouquet, then Sidling will talk, but the 2 dryads waited their turn, so politeness is not expected from their druid. Sidling asks for understanding and steps up to talk to Jae-hee. Sidling is as tall as Mesquite and seems scary from the clothes. Jae-hee recognizes it must be because of the difference in their levels. Sidling calls Jae-hee small, and she becomes angry hearing that because no one yet calls her small in this world. Belladonna reminds Sidling that she told him many times that humans and dryads are treated differently, and she tells him that before saying anything, he should think about one's feelings. Sidling suggests Jae-hee go back because her soul is a small vessel, and it's not a place for people like her to wander around. Sidling praises Mesquite, saying that because of him, she is able to come this far, but now she can't move further. Jae-hee's anger becomes intense, and Kalmia reminds her of what she said to him, not to tell their intention directly, otherwise, the fight will arise as it has happened before, also because of Sidling being straightforward. Sidling speaks negatively about Jae-hee's skills and tells her the consequence. If she moves further, she will die, and if she dies, her dryads will also be swallowed up by the fire, and a stronger fire monster will be born if Mesquite ranks dryads devoured by the fire. Sidling dryads apologizes to Jae-hee for the rude behavior of their druid. The Brazilian reminds Sidling that he is human too, and he should take care of the words he is using while talking to another human because the Dryads taught Sidling to talk. His manner of speaking is straightforward, while the Dryads are not hurt by the Druid words, but humans are different. The Brazilian reminds him that he said many times to think about others' feelings before saying anything, while the Sidling said he said it after thinking. Kalmia reminds him not to use the word terrible and drives his attention towards Mesquite that he has grabbed his lance, and if Sidling makes Jaehi more angrier, a fight would break, and they have Mesquite and a top-tier healer, and this combination is bad for them. Cardin, the Prince of the Desert, excitedly meets Mesquite and tells him that it's an honor for him to meet the Guardian of the Desert, and he admires him since he was a sapling. He asks him to shake hands or hit him with his lance. Periwinkle and Blue Mallow already know that Cardin will act like that, and Mesquite stops him from uttering more words, and he neither handshakes nor hits with the lance. Jaehi tells them that they are commissioned by the 26th terrarium to head to the 28th terrarium, so she has no reason to hear Sidling, and she tells him he misunderstood them. They are not as weak as they think. Jaehi warns Sidling that if he ignores her one more time, she will forget the politeness. Kalmia said to Jaehi that if she was commissioned to investigate the 28th terrarium that is burned out, then it's too much for her because her soul vessel is so small. Commission is a special request given to the druids who are highly skilled, and it is too much for those who have small souls. Kalmia explains that they just sent any druid to investigate because 20's terrariums don't know the seriousness of the situation. As Kalmia knows, everyone has died. That's why the 10's terrarium has sent some druids who are highly skilled and known for it, but they are the only ones who came to the place with one piece. Jaehi is now concerned about themselves when she knows that this is not a beginner's quest. Mesquite takes Jaehi back to protect him from the heat of the fire that appeared to be dangerous. Belladonna alerts Sidling, Elder makes a shield to protect themselves, and Brazilian plays violin, and he understands that it is going to be dangerous. Jaehi is unable to understand where the heat is coming from while she is under the shield, but even the heat is coming inside. Sidling suggests Jaehi escape as soon as she gets a chance, and Sidling will draw the attention of the fire with his dryads. If Jaehi listens to Sidling, it will be accepted that her dryads are weak. Jaehi hears the sound, and she feels something big and powerful approaching them. The fire covers them up, and Sidling suggests Jaehi use Mesquite, as the fire doesn't affect Mesquite. Jaehi and Sidling start fighting. Belladonna suggests to Sidling not to fight themselves and suggests it's time to cooperate. Kalmia said to keep them near and safe, but Jaehi takes it as an insult. Meanwhile, fire comes out, and Mesquite tells all to come behind him in order to be safe. Jaehi was surprised to see the fire in carriage form. It's a big carriage, which is as big as a house. She suspects it was the fire that swallowed up the carriage that she saw in the way early. Jaehi heard that fire takes the form of the strongest when it sees, but she never thought fire would take the form of an object. The situation looks like a boss stage, and one alone can't win this stage, and Jaehi is thinking of forming a party with Sidling. Belladonna also suggests to Sidling that the situation is serious, and he should make a party with Jaehi because, without it, the battle will not end easily. Plus, the actions will be restricted to Belladonna if they do not become their allies. Sidling gives the excuse that she is small, but Belladonna explains that if he is thinking that he needs to protect the seedling, then it's not like that, while Daisy is really in her seedling form. Jaehi becomes angry upon hearing Sidling's words. Suddenly, the fire attacks. All move aside, but Belladonna gets hurt because she moves to the other side, being worried about Jaehi because if she moves towards her, she will be harmed because Belladonna has the ability to harm the surrounding area when she is in the field. The carriage attacks lava constantly. The more they act, the more restricted their actions will be for Belladonna. Jaehi said Sidling shouldn't be stubborn and send her party request, as his dryad got hurt because of his stubbornness. Jaehi doesn't know how to make a party request, but her phone rings, and she sees the phone switch from wallet mode to Stonehenge mode and connected to the artifact network. She received a request from Sidling on her phone to join the party, and she joined it. The fences between the terrarium artifacts open temporarily, and a Stonehenge is formed between the Sidling and Jaehi terrariums. The Stonehenge initiative is 90% for Sidling and 10% for Jaehi. The party formation is not only about forces, but it also feels different, and Jaehi was not feeling that close to him before. Elders don't want to be a part of the party, but there is no time to even think about that. He uses his stick, and his specialty has bloomed. The human-shaped fires start coming out of the carriage all at once. Mesquite suggests that they can't just slice them into fires because they remember what happened in the dandelion habitat, but it will also not be a good idea to just take offense by putting out the defense. Daisy is good at blocking attacks, but she can't just blow out the fire in one strike. Plus, Mesquite also doesn't want to stop Elder from using his wide-range healing to use his buff because Elder's healing is keeping Dryad's momentum. Sidling calls Belladonna, and as she touches Sidling's hand, a transparent barrier covers them up. Suddenly, a boulder appears, and as Sidling touches Mallow's hand, grass appears. Jaehee doesn't get what they are doing, and it seems like an illusion, but Elder tells her that it's a field declaration. It's a druid ability to take the artifact into the real world, and it turns a field into a natural environment that is suitable for dryads because it helps them become stronger while they are in their suitable environment. Jaehee is unable to believe that he overlays different fields at a time, and she is curious how big the Sidling soul limit will be. Jaehee now accepts that Sidling is incredible, and she is doubtful if she can do this too. The environment boosts up the dryads, Elder healing becomes stronger, and Daisy starts fighting back. Mallow is doing something using his crystal ball. Mesquite got something they were doing and helped them by putting out fire around Mallow. Cardin follows Mesquite's actions, and Mallow is done with his crystal ball. Mallow has good news and bad news. He asks what they want to hear first, and Jaehee says good news. Mallow says that there are 6 normal fires and 3 rare fires, and they can get rid of them without any difficulty. Mallow suggests Belladonna use her sorcery. Belladonna passed her weapon to Sidling, and he used it. Several purple balls affected the fires, which stopped them and all put out the fire easily at the same time. Jaehee is filled with questions. Can a druid use Dryad's power, and how powerful can a druid be? Mesquite explains to Jaehee that it is called graft, in which grafting the branches of the druid and Dryad's soul amplifies their power, and she cheers up Jaehee that she will also be able to use it one day. The carriage comes again, and this time it seems more powerful. Jaehee remembers she heard only good news, and it must be bad news. Mallow said that there was one more that appeared just now, which has a unique rank because it must have swallowed up a higher rank, Dryad, and he suggests they might need to run depending on the current situation. Sidling stands still in this situation and suggests they can't run away and that they need to deal with the fire before it gets worse. Jaehee also doesn't want to step back, as they came this far and now they need to beat the boss. Seeing the difficulty level, the reward will also be as huge as the difficulty. Mallow says once they see the blazes that will appear, they might change their mind. The fire attacks with the bullets, or something seems more like the fire bombs. All defend themselves to avoid the bombs that explode and cover them with fire. The area is small, so it is difficult to dodge the bombs. Periwinkle Whip got affected by the fire, and Elder can't heal the weapons. At this rate, if the weapons get destroyed, then the game will be over. At the Jaehee end, the defense is manageable because of Mesquite, but there will be no means if the other bouquet loses their attackers. The fire is continuously releasing lava, and Jaehee now understands why the seedling said that if the fire swallows a higher-ranking dryad, then the fire becomes castrographically stronger. Jaehee asked Elder if he has any other skills, as he is a healer. His role is a bit critical at this point. Elder seems to be struggling because it is not a small responsibility to heal a large group. Elder is doing his best, and because of him, all are still alive. Elder is healing the dryads again and again, even those who are about to die. Everyone is busy dodging attacks, but Elder is standing still in this situation. Jaehee gets what she can do now. She grabs Elder Buff's stick. Mesquite tells Jaehee that he can't hold on any longer, and they need to break the shield to come out of the tense situation. Jaehee turns into a little tree, and she understands why they call the druid a tree. She is feeling herself like a sturdy tree. Jaehee and Elder form the graft. The rain starts, which heals the wounds, and even the weapons start healing. The rain is a blessing of life that is given to all plants. Rain can affect the blaze, but it's not ordinary rain either. These droplets that are healing them are the same as the potions in the sap of the world tree. Jaehee understood from where the sap was coming. It's a special graft that Jaehee and Elder can use. The Dryad's power is the only one that can defeat the blaze. Elder's power melted Jaehee's diamonds and turned them into rain. All the Dryads get boosted and attack with their full potential. The burns from the lava healed immediately because of the rain. Mesquite realized that he doesn't need to defend anymore and that all attacks are at their full potential. Several diamonds appeared as the fire was put out. Daisy grows more, and she runs and lifts Jaehee up. She is still smaller than Jaehee, but for sure she becomes stronger than ever before. Daisy is now able to defeat more blazes, and she keeps getting stronger to protect Jaehee. Mesquite praises Daisy too, and now he can't call her a seedling. Elder alone is only capable of generating fog, but the rain that covers the wide area Elder got Jaehee use the diamonds, so he asked how many diamonds she has, but the diamonds are not going to end that easily because she has infinite diamonds. The area has been turned into a sanctuary, so the blaze will not be able to come to this area for a while. They had all never seen anything like that before. Elder species that Belladonna met was not that strong. Kalmia felt like she was back with the world tree and said that even seedlings wouldn't be able to use such an amazing skill. Mallow was concerned about Jaehee because he thinks that the rain was like raining thousands of bottles of potions, and she must have used her health at the place of world tree sap. Belladonna said that she is not a healer but can diagnose injuries, but Jaehee said that she is fine, but Sidling is confident that she must have hurt because using a skill like that requires even more than the power of grafting, and Sidling said to let Belladonna look, and there is no need to be afraid of her because she is not like her mother plant. Jaehee reveals that she didn't use the health, and the rain wasn't the world tree sap, but technically it was tree sap because the diamonds are crystallized forms of the world tree sap. Jaehee got an alert from her phone, and she saw a wagon. The gnomes have set the tape underground so that Jaehee can easily use diamonds. Belladonna is unable to believe, so she asked Jaehee again if the source of the rain was diamonds. Jaehee said that her soul limit is not as great as Sidling, but she has tons of diamonds. Sidling Dryads never saw a druid with lots of diamonds except his druid because he got so many diamonds fulfilling requests. All are surprised because the number of diamonds required to show such amazing power is incalculable. The artificial rain that covers a wide area and happens continuously for a long time is unbelievable for them. Jaehee shows Elder her phone screen, showing the diamonds number has increased by 10,000 diamonds. But the screen is seeing blank by the Elder, which means that only Jaehee can see it. Jaehee gives diamonds to Elder as an expression of appreciation for grafting. Jaehee told Sidling that he can keep all the diamonds that were dropped by the fire because she doesn't need them, as they can see. Jaehee shows attitude, as Sidling made her angry earlier, and she angrily told him to never meet again, and if they meet by any chance, then let's ignore each other. Before Sidling says anything, Belladonna calms her, and says that is why he has to be careful while talking to people. Sidling silently disappears. That party is disbanded, and Jaehee never wants to meet Sidling again. Mesquite asks Jaehee if she really doesn't want to meet them so he can spread his roots to give them warning when they will come close to them. But she doesn't want Mesquite to do that as the Dryads were cool. There is only the Sidling that makes Jaehee angry. She was impressed by the Sidling fighting style with his Dryads, but Mesquite was impressed by the Jaehee and Elder graft. Jaehee wants to use it every time in the battle, but Mesquite explains that she can't use it whenever she wants because she needs to make a close relationship with her Dryads in order to use it again. Jaehee sees it as a special attack that can only be used when their meter is full. Elder says they don't need to be discouraged because they can build their relationship stronger and faster if they understand each other better, and Jaehee thinks that if she needs to give more diamonds to Elder to get a better bond. Daisy asks if she can also graft with Jaehee, but Mesquite says she still has a long way to go, and first she needs to grow her roots. Jaehee is curious to know what will happen when she grafts with Daisy and Mesquite, and when she grafts with them all at the same time. The sun is shining, and Jaehee is so tired that she even wants to roll down the hill. Jaehee sees them in the front and realizes they have reached the 28th terrarium. The 28th terrarium is covered with ashes and smoke. The protective barrier of the terrarium seems to have been destroyed, and its branch of the 28th terrarium has lost its powers. Moreover, Mesquite says that if the 28th terrarium is left like this, then the other terrarium will come into danger because it is like leaving a hole in the wall from which the blaze will come again and again through the opening. Additionally, the fire they fought before would be very rare to see in this region. Mesquite seems fearful that a great branch of the world tree can be defeated like this. Therefore, Jaehee thought to first check the area with fewer blazes because maybe they can secure a path to town so they don't have to fight all the blazes of the 28th terrarium. Jaehee got an emergency alert on her phone, and she hurried to the shortest path going there. They had experience from previous battles, which is helping them now get rid of blazes easily. Moreover, Elder lifts Jaehee up and runs in the direction she told him. They reached, and there was a druid laying under the tree. Furthermore, blazes are gathering around him. They can't use their special move, but Elder gives his stick to Jaehee to grab, and fog covers them up, acting like a barrier. Jaehee is hoping the guy under the tree is fine, as she can sense the life in him. It seems like he has been waiting for so long. Additionally, Jae-hee gets another alert that shows that her artifact is connected to the Scarecrow artifact automatically because of the emergency mode. A Stonehenge is formed with the 100% ownership of Jae-hee. As the guy stands, the tree disappears. He says that he hung on for a long time, but now he and his dryad have reached their limit. Jae-hee offered water, but he didn't want it anymore. He is Scarecrow, the custodian of the 28th terrarium, and a sole survivor. He and his last dryad Arrowwood raised a barrier to prevent the blaze from leaving the terrarium, and if he left and went for help, then other terrariums would be in danger, so he was unable to go ask for help. There is a terrible blaze inside the walls, and if it ever gets out, then all the terrariums will be destroyed. He and his dryad used their health to graft for a long time. The druid has no more time left, and he asked Jae-hee to save the 28th terrarium. The druid was not asked to defeat the blaze, but telling the world about the tragedy of this terrarium will be enough, and the druid is happy to meet a druid who can tell others what happened to the 28th terrarium. Furthermore, Jae-hee got another notification that the network is disconnected and that druid has passed away. The blaze is attracted to dead bodies. They won't be able to dig a grave for him this time, but the best they can do is hide him. Additionally, Elder suggests they can't defeat that blaze on their own, but he suggests they take help from other terrariums. Jae-hee calls her dryads close, but Jae-hee hears a voice. But that's where this video ends. Remember to like and subscribe. If you want to see a part 5 of this recap, let us know in the comments section below. Till next time,